Hey, good morning, everybody. It's a continuation of Early Mornings LALATE. It's Friday. You reach the weekend. Exciting, great news overnight about your second stimulus check. Big progress, but will there be an agreement by the end of today? And what does an agreement mean? And what's happening with Mitch? Meantime, is Donald going to wake up and send out executive orders? Big developments, big focus, and big smiles. This is a continuation of Early Mornings LALATE. Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Early Mornings LALATE. I hope you're good and safe. The toast is toasting, the butter's buttering, the coffee's brewing. I'm here, you're here, and the corn is not left. The corn is still here. It's all ears, and I really appreciate you for joining me in a day in which it's going to be really quite wonderful. I hope the weather is good where you are, and I really want to thank everyone that has been so helpful and kind to one another. A personal message I have for some of you at the end, for all of you. You have to have a private code to hear the rest of the video. I have a private message for some of you at the end of this video. Okay, we're off to a good start. Go to the front channel, subscribe because there's a restricted access on this video by the second half, so you have to treat me really nice to see the second half of the video. Also, like this video. Oh, by the way, I'm kidding. There is no restricted access to the second half of the video. At the end of this video, I have a personal message. Coming up in this video, big developments overnight about stimulus. Why the presidential they gave no further clarity about what's going on with your stimulus. Why the economics of the situation suggest you need stimulus right now. What is the Federal Reserve saying right now? And what is going on with Steve and Nancy? And why can they not really get a clear message out to us of where they are, what the numbers are, and really what's going on? All right, let's the breaking news. The breaking news is there's no deal from Steve and Nancy, but they promised that there would be a deal by the end of today. This is a deal. This is not a law. Now, the latest version of the problem at hand, as if we have not seen enough problems, is that Nancy Pelosi says, we are legislators and we go slow. Yeah, there's other excuses of why you go slow, honey. If we reach an agreement, I think we can get it to a vote before Election Day. But again, we are legislators. We understand how long things take. It's not a question of us agreeing in a room. It takes time. I don't know. It's been 6 friggin' ass months, honey. I mean, how long do you need to take for this thing? I mean, how long did the hairdresser take to do that hairstyle? It's just, what I think entire world economies were built in the time that we've waited for the stimulus check. I think I could have replayed all 13 seasons of Real Housewives of Atlanta by now, waiting for your stimulus deal. But now she says, after weeks of working on language between her and Steve, after having not one, but 2 stimulus bills, the HEROES Act and the HEROES Act Light, the one from a few weeks ago, she now says she has to go write something. It's called cut and paste. If you're new to a computer, Nancy, it's that thing that Bill Gates came out with a couple years ago. It's Control-C, Control-V. You copy and you paste. You cut and you paste. You want to do the old way, you get a scissor and you cut out the pages, and you get a piece of Scotch tape and you push it like that on the page. It's like, oh, yeah, you don't have to I don't think anyone in Washington retypes anywhere either. You don't want to retype. Nancy Pelosi's like, oh, damn, my bill is 3,000 pages. Who retypes in this room? Her HEROES bill was 3,000 pages, so apparently she doesn't want to retype it. Probably doesn't know how to type. But she has a 3,000 page bill. She says, we have to start writing. You already have a 3,000 page bill. How many more pages do you need, honey? You need 50,000 pages. It's just... oh my God, it's just, I want to cry, but it's too early in the morning to start laughing this hard. Then when asked, well, can you get it done maybe a little sooner, faster? She says, it can happen, can, C-A-N. It's really up to them. Wait a second, Steve Mnuchin's not a legislator. Steve Mnuchin's a cabinet member. That story doesn't work anymore. So I thought the excuse was you're a legislator, you go slow. Well, Steve Mnuchin's a Treasury Secretary. He's in the cabinet. He's not a legislator. They do have computers over there and printers with nice low keyboards. So I just don't know what she's talking about. As we sit here today, this is why you need executive orders, because this is just the hot mess express. Donald Trump was asked about this last night and during the presidential debate, and he said, you know what, it's Nancy Pelosi's fault. Well, today she's now basically revealing it is her fault. She was really slow. I think by the time we get our stimulus, it'll be 2035 based upon Nancy Pelosi's slowness. If you're slow, you should have maybe started maybe back in May. Oh, wait, you did start back in May. So I don't really know what to say, but executive orders is all I can say. Executive orders is the push, push, push for the purple power, because this is crazy. I mean, this is just, I don't, it's funny, but also it's ridiculous. Why should we be enduring this sadness? You were owed multiple stimulus checks. Let me take Nancy Pelosi's words and use them this way. Her original version of the CARES Act, the one in March, that was thousands and thousands of pages long then as legislators. Well, they were such great legislators, they looked at the bill and had multiple stimulus checks in there, one for a month of March and April and May. And as legislators, they took out the months and said, you know what, as legislators, we will get to those other months when we come back. Oh, okay. You don't have to do it now. No, there's a pandemic hitting. As Joe Biden said last night in the debate, you didn't address the pandemic appropriately when the virus was hitting. Well, somewhere along the world, I hope someone jumps out and says, and about that stimulus, when the pandemic was hitting, you took out the multiple stimulus checks. Mic drop. So it's at that point that you realize, okay, why did you take out the multiple stimulus checks when you knew the pandemic was hitting? You knew we were going to be on lockdown for 3 months. The states had announced a 3-month lockdown. You took out the multiple stimulus checks, said we'll get to it later as legislators. And as we came to May, you had that 3,000-page bill, the HEROES Act, that wonderful behemoth that Joe Biden talked about last night, and President Trump said it was a horrible piece of junk, which it is a horrible piece of junk. How many stimulus checks were in that bill? One. Congratulations, one stimulus check. Well, by May, at that point, it looked like you just missed a month because you had gotten March, unless you're an adult dependent. You had missed April because they didn't pay you April. And now they wrote a bill for May. Okay, here's a stimulus check. That's sort of nice. You just missed a month. I can deal with 1 month. I'm not homeless yet. It's only $1,200 you screwed me over for. Well, by July, you were still on the same bill. By July, you were adding things in the bill. By August, you were adding the post office, and you were adding the airlines, and were you adding additional stimulus checks? No. And that's why executive orders is such a big issue, because these people have added to their 3,000-page behemoth as legislators that move really slow, have added to their behemoth of a bill over time, has stayed at $2.2 trillion since the month of July, but have never given you more money for stimulus checks. As I sit here today, I really can't understand why. As Democrats that want to spend money, as Democrats who want to throw money left and right and just give hundreds of billions of dollars to Andrew Cuomo to mow the front lawn and to paint the governor's mansion. It's just, where are the multiple stimulus checks for us? And that's what's really the reason why purple power push, push, push is executive orders, because it doesn't make sense. October surprise. October surprise. If you've not tuned into 28, please tune into 28 every day at 12 noon. I'll give you a tidbit today, a preview. The preview is that we're going to see the poll numbers overnight for what Trump got from this debate. Did he get a little bit of a pop? Did he go a little bit up? An interesting poll number overnight showed that of people who have already voted, Biden was clearly a big front runner. So Biden's expected to have a lot of those mail-in ballots, those, early voting people. As the people who are voting in the polling place and have not yet voted, the numbers show Trump surging against Biden. Well, That's even more reason for executive order. For people who have not mailed their ballots, those numbers are more in favor of Trump, but are very open. So with that understanding, that's why you need executive orders. If you want to grab people's votes, grab them now before they vote, Mr. President. Get those executive orders so they understand they're going to vote for you because you're going to give your stimulus relief. Last night's debate, the days before the debate, and today after the debate, we will see whether Joe Biden has any explanations about stimulus. But to this day, we still have not heard a single word from Joe Biden on what his stimulus plan is. We've heard that he wants to build highways and build infrastructure. And we heard that he wants to tax you to pay for someone else's stimulus check, which is just like, okay. Now they don't want to spend, now they want to spend the federal government's money. It's just crazy. But other than that, we have no clarity from Joe Biden. On the president, on the other hand, doesn't give us numbers on details. So as you sit here today, you're like, so what's the amount? What I detailed yesterday in early mornings LALATE is what Purple Power needs to do is just push and say, we are going to demand more. Hashtag MSC. Hashtag demand more stimulus. Hashtag demand numbers. We are not going to reject a $1,200 check that lands in our bank account or lands in our hand because we need the check. But ultimately, we're not going to sit back and say that's sufficient. No. The push and efforts of the Purple Power will continue because we'll say, no, this is not sufficient. We demand more. Now, let me explain to you the time frame. As we sit here at the 9-minute mark, more coming up. What's important to understand with the time frame is that if this does go from Nancy and Steve with a potential agreement to a vote on the House floor and then a vote on the Senate floor, there will be time to negotiate the deal terms again. And it's that time that everyone will have seen the movement of the Purple Power in the days leading up to that, saying, hey, what's this darn $1,200 check? What's this $500 dependent check? What's this $100 check for a kid? I mean, what is this? And ultimately, people will realize, oh, I think we need to give a little more stimulus. 1A, familiar with the discussions, told CNN that if a deal is reached, the expectation is that it would come to the House floor ASAP for vote in the democratically controlled House. Okay. But getting a deal after that is uncertain. How about the Senate? I don't see how this gets voted on before the election, a GOP aide said. Still, if a deal could be reached, a vote would give Pelosi an opportunity to put the Republicans on the record in the House on a deal that President Donald Trump has said he badly wants. The GOP pushed back on the House and stimulus with Pelosi. Such a vote would also force Senator Mitch McConnell, a Kentucky Republican, to have to decide whether to bring the legislation to the Senate to vote. McConnell said earlier this year that he would consider any bill between Pelosi and Mnuchin for a vote. Susan Collins, a Republican from Maine who's up for the running for life to get reelected. I certainly would not eliminate the possibility if the need adds up to the amount. I have to look at the provisions. It's one of the things to appropriate. It's another thing to allow it to ultimately be spent, said Tom Tillis, a Republican running for reelection. If you watched Evenings LA yesterday, I said, you know what? I don't know if Trump, Pelosi, Mnuchin, or any of these people really want to put this up for a vote. I just don't know if they do. And they're going to say they do, but I don't think they do. And you see in that comment right there why there's a in that article right there, why there's a problem of putting it to a vote. Here's an example. Nancy Pelosi rushes it to a vote in the House. I can certainly see that happening. Rushes it to the House, and House has approved the bill. Then she sends it to Mitch. Mitch is like, we're close. See you after election day. What do you mean you're close? We're closed. We're doing lobster bills and pot bills, but we're not doing stimulus. What do you mean you're closed? And then starts this. Mitch is to blame. We have an agreement between the White House, and Mitch doesn't want to approve it. Suddenly it will look like a bloodbath, which is exactly what Mitch doesn't want. And ultimately, Nancy Pelosi will be sitting back and say, hey, see, the Republicans can't agree on anything. This is why they're to blame. I have an agreement, and Mitch is to blame. Ultimately, I don't think this is going to happen. I could be wrong, and things are changing by the minute, but I think that you're not going to see anything push even that far by election night. Roberto Hellman, good morning, Ellen. I think I should send President Trump a direct personal message today before he leaves the White House for the debate and tell him to send out the $2,000 checks by executive order. Amen. DJ Frankie G, folks, we see how politicians really are. Tim R, I'm voting against every incumbent. Lena, this government has set up the American people, bottom line. Monique Williams, I would have never believed people in Congress would have behaved this way. Embarrass me, Eva White. 2020 is the worst year of my life. Kamala, Judge Barrett does not help pay my bills. Congress can't walk and chew gum at the same time. What the hell? I love that. Lachey, they need to give our money back. Rick Riddle, this is just a preview that's going to go on in the future. Paul Peterson, I can't believe the president fails this delaying tactic. Alan Hart, this has been the most messed up, frustrating year personally. Monique, good morning, LA. Good morning, Purple Powers. Spencer Gadget, this isn't going to be 48 hours. This is all smoke and mirrors. He was right. Robin Kennedy, there are so many living in the streets where I am. Our government leaders are not representing us. Connie Presley, they took this country down through this pandemic and it was uncalled for. They divided the country by drawing a line between the rich who got richer and made the middle class extremely poor and heartless to those in poverty already. Disgraceful. What a message. And now a personal message for me. In 2 days ago's broadcast on Afternoons LALATE, you saw me a little bit emotional when I talked about how you need relief. And my emotionality, if I did not make it clear on camera, was in reaction. I was thinking in the back of my head while taping about a comment that was made on this show's by one of the viewers of this show during one of these tapings of the show from Tuesday's taping. During the Tuesday broadcast, while I was recording, someone dropped in the comment while the show aired. Someone dropped in the comments that she's a senior citizen on disability, and that her coffee pot blew up. I guess that was the expression she used. Her coffee pot blew up. And she said, I really value my coffee and I don't know what to do. What transpired over the next few days was you seeing me getting emotional in one video, because that's what was in the back of my head. And I think she apparently did understand that that's why I became emotional. And I kept on saying, contact me, but I never heard back from her. Needless to say, other viewers were contacting me to contact her, because everyone wanted to send coffee pots. And needless to say, finally on Evenings LALATE yesterday, the first video, not Purple Power, but the first video, suddenly she appears in the comments and you see me read on air. And she said by that time, which was a comment on Wednesday's video, someone had already found her from the Purple Power community and got her a coffee pot. Is that not an incredible story? Is that not an incredible story? That a person who dropped a comment in a Tuesday video needed assistance. People started looking for her. I was looking for her. Other people were looking for her. I found her on Thursday. Someone found her on Wednesday. Someone found her on Tuesday. And by Wednesday, she said, someone had already found me. There was like 7 of us trying to find this person to help her. So I really appreciate that this community has become like that. I don't think this is normal. I think it's sort of a little bit of how I treated it. Early on in this community, if you did not realize, early on in the very first days of this community, I was very intent to make sure that there's no negativity in this channel, and that there's no one that treats other people with disrespect in this channel, and there's no one that treats me with disrespect in this channel. So I've kept it as a very positive, clean, inviting, helpful community. And as you grow, you're always worried that you can keep that environment. Ironically, as we've gotten bigger, we've gotten better. We've gotten even closer, which is totally incredible. So with that, I really thank you for all your thoughts and wishes for that kind person. Someone said in the comments, I've never seen you that emotional. Note to you, I have been emotional in earlier recordings of this video, of this channel, in the first 2 or 3 weeks. I will bring back some of those videos. There was one in particular that is very notable, I guess you would say, in which I really lost it. And I will bring that back. As now that we've reached 300,000 subscribers, I think we're owed a anniversary special show, or shows. You probably need a couple. So I will try to bring that back. As always, go to the front of the channel, subscribe, because we're doing a great job and we're going to get through this together. And I hope you're having a great morning. And I hope the toast didn't burn. And I hope you have me some extra bacon. Because, we all love, there's never enough bacon. Also, like this video. Coming up this morning at 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time is Mornings LALATE. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay LA for more.